Thank you to Spencer and Maddie for inviting me. Just thank you for supporting this movement. It is something that is not a choice for Black people of America. It's not an option not to stand up when we are being slaughtered in the streets. I want everyone to be aware that we appreciate your allyship, and I am a firm believer that actions speak louder than words, so thank you for being here in spite of COVID-19. Thank you for being here despite what your friends and family might say about you supporting us in this movement. Thank you for standing up for a cause that is not directly impacting you. It is not easy, and I appreciate it. I want everyone to know right now, I had a tormentous time trying to put to words the experiences that I know happen for Black people across the nation and the globe. I had a tormentous time trying to cut it down. I am not going to lie to you. I didn't leave tons of things out, so please bear with me. There are things that need to be covered. There are things that need to be said. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. And in the meantime, let's get started. We are currently living in a time and in a nation in which there are two Americas. The white picket fence, nuclear family, all-American, apple-pied American dream, and the American nightmare. We are living at a time in this nation in which the President of the United States of America, the leader of the alleged free world, took time from his elected post while the nation is suffering under the grip of COVID-19 and the chokehold of rampant historical and contemporary racism, oppression, and outcry, to quote Miami Police Chief Walter Headley in 1967, reigniting the phrase, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." We are living in a time in which dog whistles have been traded in for blaring sirens, and regardless of the type of signal, I want everyone to know the danger, the bloodshed, and the intimidation remain the same. This land, now known as the United States of America, was not discovered by Christopher Columbus. It was found occupied by the indigenous peoples of Native America and then stolen. This nation has its birth tied in struggle. A struggle anchored in rioting, fighting, and breaking free from the tyranny of Great Britain was offering. You may have heard of its most notable event, the Boston Tea Party, the political protests that occurred on December 16, 1773 at Griffin's Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. This is the same nation whose preamble to its Declaration of Independence has inspired many around the globe. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This nation, once free from the tyranny of their former monarchy, then traveled afar to chain African peoples and utilize them like chattel, to label and treat them as property, property to keep, to sell, and to slaughter, property to rape and mutilate, property to whip, torment, and experiment upon, property to hoist up like party favors, all the while taking pictures from memories galore. And when we were supposed to be free from chattel slavery, as stated in the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, we became targets of new evils and cruelties. We were forced into sharecropping. We were forced into servitude. We were lynched as a warning to be caught living. And as we continue to rebel against systemic racism and oppression that told us we were nothing, that we didn't belong to ourselves, that we were inferior to white people, we tried the civility route. We marched. We sat in. We held church services. We rode freedom buses. We were bombed at work. We were hung from trees and left till morning for our communities to find us, like strange fruit in the crisp morning air. We were hosed down. We were beaten. We were shot at. We had dogs sicked on us. Time went on and we appeared in court and we took to the streets. Time went on and we were criminalized. No longer mocked by oil paint and enlarged lips met with broken English and knee-slapping portrayals of black peoples as less than intelligent. We were now thugs. We were welfare queens. We were aggressive. We couldn't be trusted. We had dysfunctional and broken family systems. Time went on. Our real names, once left to settle among the uncomfortable subconscious thoughts held by many but stored in silence, were now visible in the light. Now we were monsters. We were scaring the very people who took an oath to protect and serve, the very people trained, the very people whose occupation began with and is rooted in slave patrols. We were, again, subhuman. Time went on, and a data pool of black murders has detailed to us the following. We can't be handcuffed and put in the police car unless we are dead, George Floyd. We can't go bird watching in Central Park, Christian Cooper. We can't go jogging, Ahmaud Arbery. We can't relax in the comfort of our own homes, Botham Jean and Atiana Jefferson. We can't ask for help after being in a car crash, Jonathan Farrell and Renisha McBride. We can't have a cell phone, Stephen Mark. We can't leave a party to go to safety, Jordan Edwards. We can't play loud music, Jordan Davis. We can't sell CDs, Alton Sterling. We can't sleep, Ayanna Jones. We can't walk from the corner store, Mike Brown. We can't play cops and robbers, Tamir Rice. We can't go to church, Charleston 9. We can't walk home with Skittles, Trayvon Martin. We can't hold a hairbrush while leaving our own bachelor party, Sean Bell. We can't party on New Year's, Oscar Grant. We can't get a normal traffic ticket, Sandra Bland. We can't lawfully carry a weapon, Philando Castile. We can't break down on a public road with car problems, Corey Jones. We can't shop at Walmart, John Crawford. And I bet you thought I was done. I'm not. We can't have a disabled vehicle, Terrence Crutcher. We can't read a book in our own car, Keith Scott. We can't be a 10-year-old walking with our grandfather, Clifford Glover. We can't decorate for a party, Claude Reeves. We can't ask a cop a question, Randy Evans. We can't cash our check in peace, Yvonne Smallwood. We can't take out our wallet, Amadou Diallo. We can't run, Walter Scott. We can't breathe, Eric Garner. And we can't live, Freddie Gray. And so many more that we're not on social media to be a hashtag for your consumption. All of this is to say, this is not an exhaustive list. We have tried everything. We have tried marching. We have tried praying. We have tried pleading with America and with God. We have tried showing you the humanity that we know you know we have, but refuse to acknowledge. We are tired. There is no avenue in which we rebel and resist the systematically, specifically designed and generationally maintained oppression and state-sanctioned murder that would appease white comfortability. We are not here to make you comfortable. We are not here for your consumption of our music, our style, our athleticism, our skill, our dance, our food, our languages, and so on, in person or television. We will not rest until an unmitigated freedom is ours. I, like the black family and community that bore and raised me, are not in the business of negotiating our humanity. It is not up for grabs. It cannot be purchased. There is no settling. This is not a black souls issue. This is not a people of color issue. This is not a marginalized community issue alone. If you are more personally concerned about property than the murders across the nation of black peoples and people of color, it is your issue now. If you are more concerned about property than a human life, you are part of the equation and you are most certainly the problem. If you are choosing to be neutral at this time, I would like to state that your privilege has allowed you to do so. And it is rooted in the fact that your body has not been politicized since your inception. We're halfway through. Now, Oregon is a beautiful state, and I have a love-hate relationship with it. It only rings truer the older I become. Oregon has mountains and rivers and parks and adventures. Oregon has festivals and fairs. Oregon may be known for its liberalism, its breweries, and its good times, but those fun things don't water down the Confederate flags. They don't water down the coded language. And they do not water down the niggers I have endured from grade school to law school. Oregon also has racism. The state of Oregon was dreamt of, designed, maintained both historically and contemporarily as an anti-black space and a white sanctuary. Oregon gained its statehood in February 14, 1859. When Oregon was granted statehood, it was the only state in the Union admitted with a constitution that forbade black people from living, from working, or owning property here. It was illegal for black people to even move to the state until 1926. Oregon's founding is part of a forgotten history of racism in the American West. Article 1, Section 35 of the Oregon Constitution once read, "No free Negro or mulatto not residing in this state at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall come, reside, or be within the state, or hold any real estate, or make any contracts, or maintain any suit therein, and the Legislative Assembly shall provide by penal laws for the removal by public officers of all such Negroes and mulattoes, and for their effectual exclusion from the state, and for the punishment of persons who shall bring them into the state, employ, or harbor them." Data and analysis from a study done in Multnomah County, Oregon in 2019 by the W. Haywood Burns Institute report on racial and ethnic disparities showed that Portland police were more likely to arrest and search black people. An analysis of a traffic stop data found that Portland police searched African Americans at more than twice the rate of white motorists and pedestrians during a 12-month period ending in June. And during the same period, Portland officers also arrested black people at higher rates than whites. Those were the key takeaways of the state's first ever look at detailed demographic data collected by Oregon police agencies. The report was prepared by the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission, a state agency that serves as a clearinghouse for criminal justice statistics. Blacks were 8.3 times more likely than whites to be in jail pending trial in 2019, 4.8 times as likely as whites to have a case prosecuted, and 4.6 times as likely as whites to have a case resulting in conviction, according to the report. According to District Attorney Rod Underhill, there is a lot to learn from this most recent report, but whether disparities exist is not one of them. We know that to be true. All of this data and so much more, for which I do not have the proper time to address, only shed light on what we already know. Racism is alive and well. We are speaking out because we have seen it outlive our ancestors, our grandparents and parents, our presidents and politicians, our musicians, our civil rights leaders. As time, technology, and communities advance, so does it. It is a seemingly timeless trend. For those spouting calls for unity and love and the end of divisive state, country, and all such things, because we all bleed the same and because we are all humans and we are all Americans, please recognize we are not all considered human. We are not all considered American, regardless of our birthplace and citizenship. We are not all bleeding in the street. We weren't then and we are not now. Please turn on the news and sit in your uncomfortability and take in the scenery like we have to. Watch as black and brown protesters and their allies get sprayed with tear gas, beaten with batons, trampled by a horse, shoved to the ground, tackled, run over with state-owned police vehicles, and so much more in this season's episode of American Violence Public Servant Edition. Then watch the people you consider to be good, kind, giving, and caring making arguments for police violence and for the murders of Black people by vigilantes. If you're tired of hearing about it, imagine just for 1 second the exhaustion we feel every single day from living it. We do not get to unwind from it. We do not get to unwind from it with a glass of wine or a nice beer after work. It is plaguing. It is relentless. If you are tired of hearing about it, then do what you should have done centuries at this point and acknowledge it. Please understand, ignoring it is not doing anything to the issue. It is not going to disappear. It is not going to turn into vapor and poof, it's gone. Racism will continue to thrive, and racism will continue to be a cycle until we break it. Stop looking to Black and brown folks to protest your way, to call out racism in your way, to call out the policing of predominantly Black neighborhoods in your way, to call out the militarized police state in a way that preserves your comfortability. Please stand up and speak out. In the words of comedian Chris Rock, some jobs cannot have bad apples. Some jobs, everybody has to be good. I would like to take the time to address something that happened a couple nights ago. And in regard to the looting and destruction that took place against the pleas of Black organizers in the city of Eugene, Oregon, downtown on Friday night, May 29th, 2020, choosing to co-opt an initial peaceful protest as a way to justify looting and destruction is vile. It puts our city at risk, it puts our communities at risk, and it puts our lives at risk. We are getting blamed for that. I say all of this knowing threats could be made on my life, and I want everyone to know and to be aware that threats are on all of our lives, including the organizers of today's protest and all others who work and who are people of color speaking out against racism. Because the devil works hard, but racism works harder. But as time goes by, one thing I've come to terms with is that the older I get, so does racism. When I was in elementary school, I thought to myself on many occasions, I just have to wait for the racist to die. And by middle school, I became accustomed to the reality that it doesn't work that way. Racism is a system. It is structural. Whiteness serves to protect itself, and privilege is one of many of the master's tools. Racism doesn't end regardless of my good deeds or community involvement. It hasn't been stifled by my degrees in education. My civility hasn't rendered it futile. It hasn't been killed with kindness. It persists. Racism will continue to thrive until everyone, not solely the marginalized, take it up and bear it. Until the unoppressed step over their sea of comfortability and cross into a threshold of understanding, allyship, and action. Assata Shakur stated it best when she said, "Black revolutionaries do not drop from the moon. We are created by our conditions, shaped by our oppression, and where there is oppression, there will be resistance." I implore everyone, every single person here, not only around the nation, but around the world, to be so disgusted and to be so appalled by the past and the present that you have no choice but to hold yourself and everyone around you to a higher standard for the future. Please do not thank me for my words. Please understand, I have no choice. I also have a family. I have nieces and nephews that are babies, and I look at them and I mourn because I am praying to God they do not endure like I had to endure in any part of this world, let alone here. I would like to end with this. If all lives matter, why aren't you as outrageous as we are?